Hey guys, this is Sam here at NA Studios. I'm going to show you a trick for how to get drums to really punch through the mix. So this is using Slate Digital's Bomber plugin, which is a kind of dynamic enhancer. It's sort of a cross between a transient designer and something else. I don't know. It's a really, really interesting plugin though. It's fantastic for any kind of bus. Put it on the mix bus, put it on a guitar bus, put it on a drum bus. In this instance, though, I'm using it on a parallel bus, and I'm feeding the kick and snare to it. So initially, the drums sound like this. Which is cool, but I felt they needed a bit more of a punch to come through. So I'm going to play the same bit and then I'm going to unmute this drum parallel bus and you can hear how it's going to punch through. Okay, so what I've done here is I've put Bomber on a drum bus from just the kick and snare. Now what's happening here is I've got the Slate FGS, which is like the SSL EQ beforehand, is doing no boosts or cuts except for that low end. It's just at around 100 Hertz because I don't want that bottom end to come through. Because the bottom end has got so much energy there, it's going to throw Bomber off whack. It's going to make it so that there's far too much in there. We don't want Bomber to just react to the bottom end. We want to have it affect the kick and snare equally. If we had all that bottom end in there, then it would affect the kick drum too much. So after the EQ comes Bomber. And what we're told to do with Bomber is to put it on and then with the intensity turned down, bring up that drive until it hits that bomb. And that's meant to be the sweet spot there. So I'm just going to do that again. I'm going to bring the intensity down, bring the drive to the default position, and then bring it up until it hits that bomb. Okay, that's more or less there. And then it's not having any effect at the moment. I'm going to bring the intensity up and you'll hear that really punchy sound get louder.
It's on my mind, the feeling that I need to find. At least that's what people...
Okay, so on its own, you'd never bring this intensity all the way up because it normally sits at like 20-30%. But because we've got it on a parallel bus, because it's not the only thing coming through, we can really, really drive that. Let's hear it on its own. Let's hear it without Bomber. And then I'll bring it in. It has that kind of pumping effect, but a real transient punch in there as well. So I'm just putting that on a bus, just doing that as a normal drum parallel bus. Normally with a parallel channel, you'd maybe put on compression is kind of the classic one, maybe distortion or EQ or something like this. But I found that when I was trying to put Bomber on each individual channel, I just couldn't figure out a way of making it easy. I couldn't get it so they're all on the screen at the same time and so that I could really get that balance. But doing this, it means that you can send the kick to it. It means you can send the snare to it. You can send whatever you want to it, but it just seems to work on this kick and snare nicely. So that's an excellent way of getting some punch out of your drums using just one set of plugins, the Slate Digital Virtual Mix Rack. If you like this kind of stuff, subscribe to the rest of the videos. There's going to be some more production tips. There's some demo to master walkthroughs as well. nastudios.co.uk. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook as well. Cheers.